In Module 2 of Chapter 13, we'll look at delta hedging the position of the market maker. So in Module 1, we have a market maker who sold a call option with a strike of 40, an assumed volatility of 30% for the stock, and a risk-free rate of 8%. So we're going to just go over the delta hedging analysis for 2 days. Day 0 is the day that the market maker actually sold the call option. We saw earlier, we're going to assume that the market maker sold an option on 100 shares. That's a typical unit of denomination for calls. A call is typically on 100 shares. So because the call price was $2.78, the market maker receives $278.04. So that's the cash in to the market maker on selling this call. Because the market maker is now short delta, remember the short position has a negative delta of 58.24, the market maker is going to go long 58.24 shares. 58.24 shares, since each share has a delta of 1, has a total delta of 58.24. So that delta should offset the negative 58.24 delta that the market maker has by virtue of selling this call option. So the net investment for the market maker has an inflow of the call premium, has to buy the shares. The market maker is still short $2,051.56 because the cost of the shares logically exceeds the cost or the sale price of the call options. So the investor will short some T-bills, the market maker will short some T-bills, and in particular short $2,051 of T-bills. And we can see that at the 8% risk-free rate, the market maker is going to have a 45-cent interest rate payment the next day. So at the moment, interest costs on the financing loan, the short T-bill position, are 45 cents a day. So now we look at day 1. Day 1, stock prices have gone up from $40 to $40.5. The call price has correspondingly gone up, and there's now a new delta. Notice that this new delta is higher than the original delta, consistent with the convexity property that was discussed in Module 1, and that being that as stock prices go up, the delta of the option increases, and we see that here. The new delta is 61.42. Now, the manager has a profit and loss that can be evaluated this day, and the profit loss has various components. First of all, there's a profit by virtue of the fact that the manager is long 58 shares. So there's a profit, 50 cents a share. Secondly, the manager is short call options. The value of the call options also increased. The manager is short options on 100 shares. So the change in the call price times 100 is a negative to the market maker. And then finally, there's our 45-cent interest cost. So the manager at the end of the first day, as we can see here, makes 50 cents. The manager also has to buy some additional shares. And the manager has to buy these shares because the delta of the option has changed. The manager now has to rebalance the portfolio that's being used to hedge that risk. That additional 3.18 shares is going to cost $128, and in turn, additional T-bills will be shorted to cover these additional shares, offset by the price of so the T-bills will be shorted to cover the cost of these new shares. We now proceed into day 2. We have a drop in the stock price from $40.5 to $39.25. Correspondingly, the call option also drops in value. The market maker again calculates the profit loss. So what are the pieces? Well, again, the manager or the market maker is in fact long stock, and by virtue of the stock price falling, the market maker loses money on the delta hedge position. But the market maker makes money on their short call position. Because the value of the calls have diminished and the market maker short those calls, the market maker makes a profit. And then finally, interest costs have gone up a little bit because we borrowed more money for the rebalancing on day one. It's now 48 cents, and we see in this day the manager lost $3.87. Of course, at the end of day two, the manager needs to also determine the new delta and to rebalance the hedge correspondingly. Predictably, because the stock price has dropped, the delta will in fact have dropped as well, and what the manager would then be doing is selling some shares, that are some of the portfolio that's used for the delta hedge, and repaying some of the short T-bill position, covering some of the short. Notice that the P&L analysis ignores share adjustments, because at every point in time the manager buys shares, shorts T-bills. The P&L effect of that position is zero, because you have an asset and a liability that are equal. So we don't include in our P&L analysis the transactions associated with adjusting the delta hedge.